Simba stood under the fading moonlight, the soft glow of dawn stretching quietly across the Pride Lands. The visions he had seen, the fiery apparition of Mufasa, and the name of the ancient king. Kiongozi pulsed in his mind like a heartbeat refusing to fade. The land seemed different, no quieter, heavier. Though every blade of grass understood the danger returning to it. Simba exhaled slowly, trying to steady his thoughts, but they ran wild, bouncing between fear and duty, between the lion he was and the lion he needed to become. He turned back toward Pride Rock, his paws trembling slightly. Sure. The journey through the elephant graveyard had taken longer than he expected, and by now, the lionesses would have woken to his absence. As he walked, he noticed the wind had shifted. It no longer carried the warmth of the grasslands, but the faint metallic scent of heated earth. Something was stirring deep beneath the ground, something he did not understand, and that made him quicken his pace. When he finally reached Pride Rock, Nala was already pacing at the entrance, worry carved into every line of her face. She hurried toward him the moment she saw him. "Simba, where were you? I woke up, and you were gone. I thought something happened." Simba lowered his head gently against hers, finding a brief moment of comfort before the weight returned to his shoulders. "I'm fine," he said softly. "But something happened." Nala pulled back and studied him, searching his eyes. "Tell me." Simba hesitated, not because he didn't trust her, but because he wasn't sure he could explain it. Not in a way that made sense. The flames, the shape of Mufasa, the voice that echoed through him rather than around him, it felt like a dream, but every instinct told him it was real. Finally, he took a breath, saw Mufasa. Or at least, something made of his spirit. Nala's eyes widened. "Mufasa?" Simba nodded slowly. "He came to warn me. Something ancient is waking. A king called Kiongozi, someone older than Scar, and far more dangerous." Nala's posture stiffened. The nay meant nothing to her, but the fear in Simba's voice did. "And what does he want?" Simba looked toward the horizon. Before Nala could respond, Zazu swooped down, wings flapping in frantic urgency. "Sire, Queen Nala, there's something you must see." At the base of the gorge, Simba's heart lurched. The gorge, the place where Mufasa died. The place where his life changed forever. Without another word, he raced down Pride Rock with Nala and Zazu right behind him. The closer they got, the thicker the air felt, warm and vibrating faintly like distant thunder. When Simba reached the edge of the gorge, he stopped abruptly. Nala gasped. Zazu nearly fell mid-flight. The ground at the bottom of the gorge was glowing, not brightly, but with a faint smoldering pattern like fire trapped beneath the soil. Strange symbols, similar to the ones Simba saw on the tusks in the graveyard, were burned into the earth, forming spirals, lines, and shapes he did not understand. And at the center of it all stood Rafiki. The old mandrill held his staff above the glowing marks, eyes closed, face tense with concentration. His fur stood slightly on end as though charged by static energy. He barely seemed to notice Simba's approach until the king called out, "Rafiki!" Rafiki opened his eyes slowly. The usual humor and playfulness were missing, replaced by a seriousness that made Simba's spine prickle. "Ah, Simba, you came. Good. You must see this with the eyes of a king." Simba descended into the gorge carefully, the heat rising with each step. When he reached Rafiki, the mandrill tapped the glowing symbols with the end of his staff. The earth speaks again. It whispers of things old, very old. Things buried, but not forgotten. Simba swallowed hard. "Rafiki, do you know who Kiongozi is?" Rafiki's eyes darkened. Kiongozi, a name the wind tries not to carry. Keen lost to history because the kings who came after wanted his shadow erased. Simba felt cold despite the rising warmth. What did he do? Rafiki circled the glowing pattern, tapping lightly. He believed the throne was his by right of birth. But ahead he gave the crown to the one with a stronger heart, not a stronger roar. Kiongozi did not accept this. His pride became fury. His fury became fire. Nala stepped forward. So, he tried to take the kingdom by force. No, Rafiki said softly. He tried to take the kingdoms of the living and the dead. Simba felt the air leave his lungs. The idea was unthinkable. The circle of life was balance, harmony. To conquer the living was arrogance. To conquer the dead was madness. Rafiki pointed to the center of the glowing pattern. The fire beneath the land grows. The seal that held Kiongozi's spirit weakens. And if he rids us, he will rise through the one thing he covets most. Simba tensed. The throne, Rafiki nodded. And the king who sits upon it. Simba looked down at his paws. Suddenly, they felt heavy, as if shackled by a destiny he never chose. He wasn't just protecting his pride anymore. He was the doorway standing between this ancient threat and everything the circle of life held sacred. The ground trembled softly beneath them. Small cracks formed in the glowing symbols, releasing puffs of heated air. Rafiki immediately stepped back. It begins, he murmured. He stirs. Simba took Nala and Zazu back a safe distance as the glow brightened and the symbols cracked further. No creature emerged. But the air vibrated with something like a growl too deep to be natural. A wave of heat swooshed upwards, scattering dust. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the glow dimmed. The trembling stopped. Silence returned. Simba's breath shook. Why now? Why is he waking? Rafiki tapped his staff thoughtfully. Because the balance has shifted. The world remembers what it tried to forget. And when memory returns, so do the shadows inside it. Simba stared at the mark left in the earth, a symbol shaped like a lion's open jaws. How much time do we have? Rafiki shook his head. Time is a river, Simba. It moves, it flows, it changes. But Kiongozi, he rises like a flood. Fast, hungry, unstoppable, unless you find the truth buried beneath your father's legacy. Simba's heart throbbed painfully. My father said the fire would lead me. Rafiki smiled sadly, then follow it. But be warned, the path it lights may burn. 2. The journey that awaited him felt impossibly large, but Simba knew he couldn't ignore it. Not when his pride depended on him. Not when the kingdom's fate lay in the claws of a spirit bent on domination. He lifted his head, letting the wind wash over him. The scent of smoke lingered faintly, not from destruction, but from something ancient, breaking free. Simba turned to Nala, his eyes filled with determination and fear, but also a spark of something stronger. I have to find out where this fire leads. I have to face him. Nala touched her forehead to his. Then you won't face him alone. Simba looked at his queen and saw the strength that had always kept him grounded. Her presence steadied him. Her faith strengthened him. He turned back toward the distant plains, where the horizon shimmered with heat. Somewhere out there, the path had already begun, and he would follow it no matter where it led. Simba began walking, each step carrying him closer to the fire that had awakened the past. Each step pulling him deeper into a destiny he could no longer escape. And somewhere far below the earth, in a place where sunlight had never reached, a growl rumbled through the darkness, slow, ancient, and rising. Thor's sun rose slowly over the Pride Lands, but its light felt different, dimmer, heavy, almost strained, as if pushing through a veil that shouldn't be there. Simba stood on the highest point of Pride Rock, his mane shifting in the cool wind. But beneath the morning breeze, he felt another current, warmer, unnatural, like the breath of something hiding beneath the surface of the world. He closed his eyes, listening, not with his ears, but with the instinct of a king who knew something ancient was moving. From behind him came the soft sound of paws. Kiara, gentle yet strong, approached with concern in her eyes. "Dad," she said quietly, "you didn't sleep?" Simba didn't answer at first. His gaze remained fixed on the distant plains, where the heat shimmered like ripples of fire. Finally, he exhaled. "Kiara, have you ever felt the land calling you? As if it needs you to hear something you're not ready for?" Kiara stepped beside him, her voice steady. "I felt that when Zira returned. I felt it when Kovu risked everything to protect me. The land speaks, Dad." "But it doesn't speak without reason?" Simba nodded, though his heart weighed heavily. "This time, it's different. Something old is coming. Something Mufasa tried to protect us from even after death." Kiara shuddered lightly. She had only heard stories of Mufasa's wisdom and strength. She had never imagined there were dangers he had kept hidden for the sake of the kingdom. It about the fire, the one Rafiki found in the gorge? Simba's jaw tightened. Yes, and more. Before Kiara could ask anything else, Nala emerged from the den with calm urgency. "Simba," she said gently, "Rafiki is waiting at the baobab tree. He says the land has spoken again." Simba's heart raced. "Then we go." "All of us?" Nala nodded. "He said only you." Simba froze. The weight of the words pressed against his chest. He wanted his family close. He wanted their strength, their comfort, but destiny rarely allowed comfort. He brushed his head against Nala's softly. "Keep everyone safe. I'll return soon." Nala held his gaze. "You will," she said firmly. "Because you're not facing this alone. Your father is with you." Simba wished he could believe that, without doubt. He descended Pride Rock and began the journey toward Rafiki's tree, moving swiftly through the golden fields. As he ran, memories rose like shadows of being a cub, of Mufasa's guidance, of Scar's betrayal, of the burden he carried for years. But today, the memories felt different. As if someone or something was tugging at them from beneath the surface, rewriting their edges with fire. By the time Simba reached the baobab tree, the air around it was thick and warm. Rafiki sat atop a low branch, drawing strange symbols in the air with his finger. They glowed briefly, then vanished like sparks. Simba stopped a few feet away. "What's happening now?" "Rafiki!" Rafiki leapt down with surprising grace. "The past is crying out, Simba. It seeks to be heard. It seeks to be seen." He tapped the ground with his staff. "And it seeks you." Simba forced his breathing steady. "I saw him. Rafiki, my father. He warned me." Rafiki's eyes softened with both pride and worry. "Yes, Mufasa comes only when the circle trembles. And now, the circle shakes like thunder." Simba looked around the baobab tree. Everything felt the same, yet wrong, windless, tense, waiting. "What do I need to do?" Rafiki gestured for him to follow. "Come. There is a place beneath this tree. A place even the kings of old once feared." Simba blinked. Beneath, Rafiki did not answer. He simply pushed aside a curtain of vines at the base of the trunk, revealing a narrow opening in the earth. A warm gust of air rushed out, harsher than the outside breeze, almost like a breath. Simba hesitated only a moment before stepping inside. Darkness swallowed him instantly. Rafiki followed behind, and the vines closed, blocking all light. Only the faint glow of Rafiki's staff illuminated the twisting tunnel that descended deeper and deeper into the ground. As they walked, Simba noticed the walls were carved lines, symbols, and faces of lions long forgotten. Their eyes seemed to follow him. After a long descent, the tunnel opened into a vast chamber. The ground was cracked stone, glowing faintly with the same symbols he had seen in the gorge. Strange gusts of heat rose from between the cracks, carrying the distant sound of breathing. Simba's fur lifted. "What is this place?" he whispered. Rafiki stepped forward. The Chamber of the Golden Kings. Hidden by Ahadi, buried by Mufasa. Forgotten by the world. He tapped a large symbol in the center of the chamber. Only 4 times of great danger. Simba approached the symbol, a circular, marking shaped like a lion's mane made of flames. As he touched the edge of it with his paw, a surge of warmth shot through him, making him gasp. Rafiki's voice echoed across the chamber. This is where Kiongozi was sealed. Simba's heart stopped. His paw froze above the glowing symbol. Here, Rafiki nodded slowly. His spirit tried to tear the worlds apart. The kings of old trapped him beneath the land. But time weakens all cages. Simba. He leaned close, eyes intense. And someone, has begun breaking the seal. Simba's mind raced. Scar. No, Rafiki said sharply. Scar was a shadow. Kiongozi is the storm that casts shadows. Simba stepped back from the symbol, but the warmth still lingered in his paw. Then how do we stop him? How do we keep him sealed? Rafiki looked at him with a heavy, sorrowful truth. You don't. Simba's breath vanished. Rafiki continued quietly. The earth has chosen. The seal will break soon. Kiongozi will rise. And when he does, only the living king can face him. Simba felt the world tilt. Face him! Rafiki, I can't fight a spirit from thousands of years ago. Rafiki tapped Simba's chest with the end of his staff, firm but gentle. Not with fear in your heart, but with something else. Something Mufasa believed you had, even as a cub. Simba swallowed hard. Strength. Rafiki shook his head. Heart. A king's heart. The one thing Kiongozi never had. Before Simba could respond, the ground trembled. The cracks in the chamber began glowing brighter, till the heat forced Simba to step back. A low, ancient growl rumbled from beneath the stones, as if something enormous was turning in its sleep. Rafiki grabbed Simba's shoulder. We must go. Now. They ran back through the tunnel, the growl growing louder, shaking dust from the walls. By the time they reached the surface and burst out from the vines, the ground outside shook as well. Birds scattered, antelopes fled. The sky darkened with sudden clouds. Simba gasped for breath. It's starting, isn't it? Rafiki nodded grimly. Yes, to fire beneath the world stretches. The past claws at its cage. Simba turned toward Pride Rock, his chest heavy with dread and determination. Then I have to protect everyone, before he rises. Rafiki grabbed his paw. No, Simba, you cannot protect them by staying in the Pride Lands. Simba froze. What? Rafiki's eyes gleamed with ancient knowledge. To stop Kiongozi, you must go to the one place he fears. The land of origins. The birthplace of the kings. Simba stared at him in disbelief. You want me to leave the Pride Lands? Now. Rafiki nodded. If you stay, the kingdom falls before the battle begins. Simba looked up at Pride Rock for home he swore to protect. The place of his family, his memories, his father's legacy. And now he was being told to leave it behind. But what about Nala? Kiara Kovu, the pride. Rafiki stepped closer. Trust them. You are the Kinjers. Brevan kings must sometimes walk alone to protect those they love. Simba felt the wind shift again, hotter, sharper, like fire brushing against his mane. He looked toward the horizon, toward destiny. Then he made his decision. I'll go.